My basement leads to the cold palace. I bring a meal to a child in the cold palace every day. Banana, apple, grape, lychee, pancake, cola, KFC, which one do you like? I'll bring you more of it. After high school, the basement was used to pay off a debt, and my family moved away. After getting into college, the basement was redeemed, and I once again arrived at that cold palace. A gloomy adult stood in the rain, staring fixedly at me. I held up a potato chip. Do you want one? I'll share a piece with you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now the story begins. In the first year of junior high, I had a disagreement with my parents. Work, work, work all day, and no one ever plays with me. My parents gave in and bought me an orange cat. The orange cat ran into the basement. I chased after it and missed a step. Ouch. Someone help me. Dad, Mom, I called out several times. A rope fell down from above. And I tried several times but couldn't climb up successfully. I can't hold on. I can't climb up. After a moment of silence from above, the rope was pulled back, and a wooden basket was lowered instead. I sit in the wooden basket. The basket slowly rises. It's a bit fun. When the basket reaches the highest point, I lean out and come face to face with a boy. Wow, you're wearing ancient-style clothing. This outfit is really beautiful. The boy looked as delicate as if carved from jade. Yet he wore a stern little face, tugging at his actually quite tattered clothes. Had I known, I wouldn't have saved you. I jumped out of the basket and finally saw clearly that it was a well. Weeds grew all around, and there were wooden structures. It wasn't my home. Curiously, I looked left and right. Hey, where is this? The boy had long since lost interest in talking to me and sat down on the doorstep. The cold palace. Weren't you pushed into the well? No. I imitated him and sat down on the threshold. My cat fell in. I fell in while looking for my cat. Have you seen my cat? No. The boy didn't want to engage, but I was excitedly looking around. I've never been to this place before. It can be my secret base. And there's a swing. My parents never bought me one. I'm sitting on the swing. He looked at me. It's the first time I've seen someone having fun in the cold palace. As long as I don't have to do homework, I'm happy, he asked. What is homework? You don't know what homework is. I ran over, crouched in front of him, propping my chin as I looked at him. Are you a rich second generation? You don't have to do homework. What's a rich second generation? A rich second generation is someone who's very, very wealthy, he said. Then I have no money. I patted his shoulder and said, I don't have any either. Which palace are you from? I haven't seen you in the cold palace before, he asked me with some caution. I'm from the warm palace. He doesn't have air conditioning here. It's a cold palace. I have air conditioning at home. It's not cold, it's a warm palace. There's no such thing as a warm palace in the palace. How do you know? You're so young. Let me test you. Is the earth round or square? Does a light year represent time or distance? He was taken aback for a moment. What are the different interpretations of she? You see, you don't know. This shows that there is such a thing as a warm palace. You just weren't aware of it. He seemed convinced. I reached out my hand and smiled. My name is Lin Yin Luo. I'm 11 years old, from class 1, grade 7. What's your name? He paused for a moment. You don't know who I am. You didn't tell me. How was I supposed to know who you are? He pursed his lips. Xiaoshen. I placed his hand on mine, and as he tried to pull it back, I held on tighter. We are good friends now. It's a pity I didn't bring my phone. Otherwise I'd let them see how good-looking you are. He lowered his gaze, lost in thought. My stomach suddenly growled twice, and I awkwardly patted it. I'm hungry. Do you have anything to eat? I'm not ready to go back just yet. If my parents catch me, I'll have to do homework again. He pursed his lips, went back inside, and brought out half a steamed bun. Its surface was still blackened. I was shocked. Do your parents treat you this poorly? Just eating this, you'll get sick. My eyes lit up as I looked at him. Have you ever had KFC? It's Thursday today, my treat. What? After saying that, I jumped into the well. He frantically tried to grab me, but the rope tied to the wooden basket swiftly slipped through his fingers. Lin Yin Luo. When he pulled the rope back up, there was only the wooden basket at the other end. No one was there. You clearly said you would be my friend. Liar. I came out of the basement and, sure enough, got caught by my parents. Where have you been? Have you finished your homework? I hung my head. I don't want to do my homework, but today is Thursday. If you buy me KFC, I'll finish my Chinese and math test papers. My dad patted my head. Deal. I'll order it now. We'll eat as soon as you finish. I finished quickly. I went to the fridge to get some fruit, but couldn't hold it all, so I grabbed the KFC from the table and headed straight to the basement. A sudden sensation of stepping into emptiness and weightlessness. Hey, Xiaoshen, I've got a lot of food, pull me up quickly. I shouted for a long time, my voice nearly cracking. I almost fell asleep. Finally, there was a sound from above. Xiaoshen, pull me up quickly. A wooden basket was lowered in a flustered manner, slowly being pulled up. Oh, why are you so listless? I leaned in and saw a lot of blood on his forehead. His already somewhat tattered ancient-style clothing was even more torn. I didn't know whether to feel sorry for his forehead first or for his ancient-style clothing. Just a moment ago you were fine, how did you end up like this? Did someone bully you? I put the food on the ground. I imitated how my parents took care of me and wiped his forehead with a tissue. He shook his head. It's nothing. He stared at me intently. It's been 2 days. I thought you. 2 days. But it's only been 2 hours. I jumped into the well earlier to look for you, but found nothing. How did you appear? I blinked at him. None of this matters. Look, it's KFC. It'll get cold if we wait any longer. I placed the hamburger, popcorn chicken, chicken wrap, fries, and so on in front of him. Lychees, grapes, and bananas were set to the side. He looked on in astonishment, murmuring, "A steed stirs the red dust, the consort smiles. None knows that lychees are brought from afar. Such a precious thing, how do you have it? Who are you, huh?" I peeled the lychee and tossed it into my mouth. It's not expensive. Bananas are 5 yuan per jin, lychees are 6 yuan per jin, and grapes are 5 yuan per jin, cheaper than what you're wearing. Aren't you going to eat? He watched me eat, swallowed his saliva, then picked up a lychee and ate it slowly and deliberately. Seeing him enjoy it, I felt inexplicably happy too. I looked at him and smiled. If you like it, I'll bring more next time. After eating and drinking his fill, he somewhat awkwardly took off the jade pendant from his body and handed it to me. This, for you. I accepted it without any hesitation. It was jade, after all, though I wasn't sure if it was real or not. It was very beautiful. On the front is engraved the character Xiao, and on the back, the character Shen. I thought for a moment. Then gave him a gold-plated silver longevity lock that my mother had given me. This is for you too. As an exchange, over the past few months, whenever I had free time, I would go to the basement, make my way to the cold palace, and find Xiaoshen. He always seems to wait for me for a long time, then approaches me with a mix of joy and restraint. You're here. This time, I decided not to wait for him to pull me up. I would climb up myself to surprise him. Just as I climbed up, I saw several adults with a few children forcing their way into the cold palace, kicking the door. Xiaoshen, Prince Xiao, I've heard that someone found meat bones in the cold palace. Were they stolen from the imperial kitchen? Aren't you afraid of having your fingers chopped off, or do you want to end up like your mother, torn apart by vicious dogs, head and body separated? The door of the cold palace was kicked open. Xiaoshen, holding a kitchen knife, looked at them. With a crime to be imposed, why worry about lacking an excuse? Put down the kitchen knife, let us beat you up like before, and we might consider letting you go. One person disarmed him of his knife, one person held his head down, someone stepped on his shoulder, someone slapped him frantically, someone rode on top of him, someone made him crawl between their legs. I don't know what he was thinking at that moment, or how desperate he must have felt when his eyes fell upon that well. I took out a lighter and set the nearby house on fire. I shouted with all my might, "Fire!" They ran away. I heard that it was Xiaoshen's birthday recently, so I made a cake myself, bought some candles, and planned to celebrate it with him. Wait until he's adjusted, then I pretended to emerge from the well. Not sure if you still celebrate your birthday now. I held the cake in front of him. Want some cake? I lit over a dozen candles with a lighter. Now, make 3 wishes. Blow them all out in one breath, and they'll come true in the new year. Anything can come true. Then I hope I can see you always and forever. Is that your only wish? As long as my basement is still here, I can come to see you every day. Do you have any other wishes? He shook his head. Nothing left. My mother has passed away. I have no other wishes. You're so easily satisfied. I shook my head, hands clasped behind my back. I have so many wishes. I don't want to do homework, but I want to get full marks. I want to get into a good university, and earn lots and lots of money. The stars are almost out. I need to hurry back. I left the lighter with him. This can start a fire. Next time, I'll have my mom buy me pepper spray and a stun gun. They're really useful. And the corner of your mouth is also cut. You need some ointment. Wait for me to come back. I secretly used my mom's phone to look up what the cold palace meant. I also looked up Xiaoshen. Before I could find out, I got caught. Have you finished your test papers? Still playing with the phone? Phones are a mental drug. You can't touch them until you get into college. I sheepishly put down my phone. I was just checking if the pepper spray and other items have arrived. She looked at me suspiciously. Did the teacher really ask you to buy these? I lied with my eyes wide open. They all have it, but I don't. My birthday is coming up. What's the big deal about buying me something? You just don't care about me at all. As long as I fake cry, many things can be resolved. Anti-piracy notice. Xiaohu bot secures documents. For bookfinding bots, choose Xiaohu, reliable heavy checkmark hash and scam free. As soon as the package arrived, I couldn't wait to take it to the basement, call out Xiaoxun, and a wooden basket will be lowered. At that time, we were all very happy. We thought that a moment would last forever. We never doubted that the other would always be our best friend, always by our side. Xiaoxun's resistance provoked an even greater retaliation from them. Some even reported to the emperor, accusing him of colluding with evil cults and practicing dark arts, which led to harsher punishment. Every time I visited, he never told me about it. Each time I went, he wore a very calm, serene, restrained, and yet joyful expression. Occasionally, I would come across someone bullying him, and I would secretly help him, until the last time. Some said the cold palace was haunted, because his deceased mother was causing trouble. They proposed to burn down the cold palace and fill in that well. That day, I had just surfaced when Xiaoxun pushed me back down. Don't come back again, they're going to fill the well. I was afraid you wouldn't be able to get out, and also afraid you wouldn't be able to go back. For the first time in so long, I saw him cry. I wanted to comfort him. But he pressed me down again. They're coming, I can't stop them, I'm sorry. I watched as the cold palace went up in flames, watching him being dragged aside, watching him clenching his fists, staring at the flames, gazing in the direction of the well. There was something in his eyes that didn't belong to a child. I saw someone carrying a huge rock over. I couldn't wait any longer. I jumped down. When I woke up again, I tried many times to go to the basement. But I never experienced that weightless feeling again, nor did the well ever reappear, and I never called out for Xiaoxun again. I was in a daze, running a high fever several times, drifting in and out of consciousness, muttering all sorts of nonsense. Some said the feng shui here was bad, and my parents also suffered business losses. After my high school entrance exams, they sold this house. I went to another place to attend high school. After entering high school, the academic workload gradually increased. I forgot about the existence of the basement and gradually forgot about Xiaoxun. I even started to think it was just a dream I had during my rebellious teenage years. The basement that connects to the cold palace, interacting with Xiaoxun, and outwitting those who bully him. No matter how I think about it, it couldn't possibly be real. That jade pendant, like my memories, was left forgotten in a corner. After the college entrance exam ended, I stretched lazily and began planning my future life. While tidying up the room, I found that jade pendant. I was stunned for a long moment. Xiaoxun, who is that? After finishing the college entrance exam, I got my first mobile phone and started searching online. Xiaoxun, the most tyrannical emperor in history. He murdered his father to usurp the throne and never appointed an empress, died at the age of 25, the first emperor in history who wished to be buried in the cold palace. A tyrant. That doesn't sound very auspicious. I stumbled upon an old diary I had written. After moving house and enduring a heavy rainstorm, many of the words had become illegible. There have been many mentions of the basement. I must go back to the basement. The basement of the old house. What's so special about it? My parents asked me what I wanted to do after the college entrance exam. Over the years, my parents' business gradually improved, and they even generously offered to buy me a house as a reward for scoring over 600 points in the college entrance exam. I suddenly thought of that basement. Mom, I want to buy back the previous house. Returning to the basement, I checked it over several times, but found nothing unusual. After staying at home for almost half a month, a heavy rainstorm brought a stray cat darting inside. I went to catch it barefoot, munching on fries. I lured the cat with my right hand. The cat dashed into the basement, and I followed, suddenly feeling a sense of weightlessness. I fell, shouting anxiously twice, "Dad, Mom, when did the basement have a pit?" No one answered my calls, so I struggled to climb out on my own. I should have worn shoes. There was a kind of awkwardness, like stepping into muddy ground, as soon as I emerged. The surroundings weren't as dim as the basement. Instead, it was even vibrant with blooming flowers and lush greenery, and a very imposing building stood nearby. I crawled out. I saw two women in ancient-style clothing trimming the flower branches. This cold palace is uninhabited, yet it requires more meticulous care than the Hall of Mental Cultivation and the Imperial Garden. This is no longer a cold palace, since the new emperor ascended the throne. This place has become more like the main hall than the main hall itself. So there was such a nice place in the basement. No wonder I always wanted to come here when I was a child. Oh dear, why is it raining? The raindrops pattered and splattered on the ground, growing heavier and louder, pitter-pattering. I took shelter under the eaves. The two girls trimming the flower branches glanced at the curtain of rain. Let's hurry back. When Her Majesty visits the cold palace, she doesn't want to be disturbed. The last person who dared to disturb has already been beaten to death. What, Your Majesty? This filming location is quite realistic. It must be because of the rain that the camera crew hasn't arrived yet. A figure suddenly appeared in the curtain of rain. The black oil paper umbrella, draped in a black cloak, stood still outside the palace, lost in thought as if gazing through the rain curtain. I looked him over from head to toe, so tall. Is there anyone in the Chinese entertainment industry this good-looking, with such an outstanding aura, and that melancholy feels completely natural? I wish I could take out my phone and take a picture. I watched quietly. A gust of wind blew by, and because my clothes were wet and I wasn't wearing shoes, I felt a bit cold. I hugged my arms and stomped my feet. His gaze suddenly fell upon me, lingering for a long time, as if unwilling to blink. Only then did I clearly see his eyes and brows. His eyes were filled with astonishment. He raised his hand and gently clenched it in the air, as if grasping at something intangible. All I have here are French fries. I looked at him, my eyes curving into a smile. Want some fries? I can share half with you. He threw the umbrella aside and picked me up. His steps were steady yet swift. I could hear his heart pounding fiercely, and his arms held me tightly, as if he was afraid I might run away. No. Even though being held by a handsome guy was quite an experience, this development felt strangely odd. Handsome, what's your name? He lowered his gaze to look at me. Xiaoshen, that infamous tyrant from history. Is he the actor playing Xiaoshen? Why don't you ask me what my name is? Your name is Lin Luo. I've always remembered. Always remembered. How does he know my name is Lin Luo? Why are his eyes red? A soft drip sound. A tear fell onto my wrist. Was he crying? He's so deeply into the role. He can cry so quickly. Kept pressed against his chest. My face flushed a little, and I thumped his chest. You can put me down now. I can walk by myself. I won't. He was stubborn, holding me for who knows how long until we reached the entrance of the Hall of Mental Cultivation. He wanted to help me bathe. This is a bit over the line. Some handsome guys really are cheap. Stop, I can take a shower by myself. You're a mess yourself. Your wig is all wet and dirty. I tugged, and it turned out to be real hair. I looked at this magnificent palace and the many people who were so reverent toward him. Then I saw the dazzling array of treasures, all made of what looked like high-quality materials. I tentatively asked, what about the camera? Are we still filming? He was somewhat puzzled. I asked directly, where is this? My palace. I widened my eyes. Are you Xiaoshen? What time is it now? The 17th year of the Xiao dynasty. I lay in the bath, light gauze floating around me, when it suddenly dawned on me, this might be an ancient world without Wi-Fi, without the internet, and even without electricity. Xiaoshen would die at the age of 25, which is the 18th year of the Xiao dynasty next year. It's just, why is he being so nice to me? It's as if he knows me. I've never met him before. Xiaoshen didn't hesitate at all to bathe in front of me. If there's a free show, might as well enjoy it. I half covered my eyes, half peeking, swallowed hard. Xiaoshen, with the empress position left vacant, never took any consorts either, wasting such a handsome face and good figure. I suddenly noticed a longevity lock hanging on his chest. Wait a moment. I rushed forward, picked up the longevity lock, and examined it closely. My name is engraved on it. Is this mine? Mom said she had given me a longevity lock before, and I lost it, but I didn't believe her. It really was lost. Thousands of years ago, right here with Xiaoshen. How strange. How did this longevity lock end up with you? Xiaoshen gripped my hand tightly. You've forgotten me, haven't you? So that's why you never came to see me. A full 12 years. He let go of my hand again. It's not your fault. It was me who had that well sealed for 5 years. 5 years. Xiaoshen suddenly spat out blood. He gripped my hand tightly. Can you not leave? Not leaving is definitely not an option. In another year, the Xiao dynasty will change hands, and Xiaoshen will die. Unofficial histories all say that Xiaoshen took his own life in the cold palace. He had the chance to leave and make a comeback, but he chose to die in the very place that was once his cold palace. The change of dynasties happened silently. Moreover, there are no comics, no novels, no phones, no computers. It's so dull. I can't stay here. His grip tightened. The moment I showed any sign of refusal, he coughed even harder. Okay, I won't leave. He nuzzled against me. Why does he give me the feeling of being younger? He's several years older than me. For nearly 2 days, he lingered around me, with 2 guards keeping watch. I can't even go home secretly. Xiaoshen was still draping clothes over me, tirelessly bringing me things and helping me dress. This time, I held his hand. Xiaoshen, I can't stay here any longer. I want to go home. Let me go home. Xiaoshen stared at me intently, and after a long while, he said hoarsely, okay. I was skeptical. Is it really that easy? Then all my previous worries were for nothing, wasted. I followed him cheerfully to that cold palace, but when I looked up, I saw not the sign for the cold palace, but one that read warm palace. Warm palace. Yes, after I ascended the throne, I had this place rebuilt and renamed it Warm Palace. You said you live in the Warm Palace. I thought, if I could have a warm palace too, maybe you would come back. Now you're really here, but you're leaving again. Suddenly, I felt like a heartless scoundrel from his words. I cleared my throat softly. After all, this isn't a place where I can stay for long. Xiaoshen, you are very good. I've been very happy these past few days. Goodbye, and also, you are very good looking. You are the most beautiful person I have ever seen. After saying that, I jumped into the well, but there was no feeling of weightlessness. I stomped my foot in confusion and called out, Dad, Mom. I remember there wasn't even a well in that basement. After a long while, Xiaoshen poked his head out from the well opening, a smile curling at the corners of his eyes. Need some help? Why is Xiaoshen still here? I can't go back. I'm a bit upset. Xiaoshen comforted me. If you can't go back, just stay here. You can stay as long as you want. I glared at him. He cleared his throat lightly. We'll go back. I'll come here with you every day from now on. How could we not go back? I didn't notice. But Xiaoshen was looking at me with a smile on his face. I turned around and caught him in the act at once. You're happy that I can't go back? Xiaoshen nodded, then shook his head. I don't blame you for not remembering me. What? He opened his palm, revealing a gold-plated silver longevity lock lying in it. This is the token of love you gave me. There's no way to refute this, because this longevity lock does indeed have my name engraved on it, and I happen to have his jade pendant, which is similarly engraved with Xiaoshen's name. No matter how you look at it, it seems like a token of love. I just don't have any memory of it at all. I forgot, so it doesn't count. Xiaoshen took my hand. I don't care. I just hope you won't push me away. We once promised to keep meeting, to always be together. His palm was broad and warm, making me uncomfortable, and I wanted to break free, but he only held on tighter. He looked down at me, his eyes filled with a mix of melancholy and grievance. You dislike me? I didn't, I weakly retorted. Xiaoshen's eyes lit up as he intertwined his fingers with mine. Forget it, I told myself. It's just holding hands. It's not like I'll lose a piece of flesh. Holding hands it is, then, but it's too much to sleep together at night. Men and women should not touch each other, but we're already engaged. When, in a dream, I don't remember, so it doesn't count. In the end, Xiaoshen still ordered someone to bring another bed. I turned around and could see his tall, straight-nosed bridge, and his finely sculpted eyebrows and eyes. It really feels like a dream, to dream of someone so handsome. I actually refused to share the bed with him just now. I must have been ungrateful. He frowned slightly, a hint of worry in his expression. I was staring intently when he suddenly opened his eyes and smiled at me. Caught you again. I flustered and quickly averted my gaze. You used to always stare at me too. Feeling a bit guilty, I couldn't hold his gaze as he smiled at me, so I retorted, so what if I look? You can look. My Luo can look as much as she wants. I got goosebumps all over. That night, however, I slept very deeply. I had a dream. In my dream, I was still a middle school student, and just like this time, I came here through the basement, only it wasn't called the Warm Palace back then, but the Cold Palace, desolate and dilapidated, not as lush and vibrant with blooming flowers as it is now. There was also an incredibly handsome little boy there, also named Xiaoshen. We became very good friends. We promised to be best friends for life. And as long as the basement remained, we would always meet. He gave me a jade pendant, and I gave him a longevity lock. I drove away those who bullied him, and I offered him advice and strategies. Later, the Cold Palace was burned down, the passage to the basement was sealed, and I never returned. I suddenly woke up in shock, breaking out in a cold sweat. Is this a dream, or is it really happening? Xiaoshen had already come to my bedside and asked with concern, Did you have a nightmare? I looked at him for a long time. Did we really pledge our love in secret? Xiaoshen, were the jade pendant and longevity lock truly tokens of affection? Xiaoshen froze for a moment, then replied calmly, Why wouldn't they be? We promised to be together for a lifetime, and you agreed. Heh. Because I had a dream and didn't sleep well. I went back to sleep for a while. In my drowsy state, it felt like someone was stroking my face. It's a bit itchy. I wanted to brush it away. But my hand was held down. A warm, moist kiss landed on the corner of my lips. I opened my eyes wide, but there was no one beside me. Miss Lin, His Majesty has some business to attend to and has left the palace. If there is anything you need, miss, please do not hesitate to let me know. I beckoned to him. Xiao, His Majesty, has he ever stayed in the cold palace? Oh dear. The little eunuch dropped to his knees with a thud. Needless to say, this is a forbidden topic in the palace. If His Majesty were to hear of it, it would cost us our heads. So, that dream was real. I made my way to the cold palace through the basement and unexpectedly encountered Xiao Shen, who was imprisoned there. I just forgot. Then I really am a bit of a jerk. That longevity lock has almost faded from his constant handling. I plan to make it up to him a little when he comes back. Also, I used to think that the karma of others had nothing to do with me. And there was no need to change the established history. But now, I might have to think about how to break Xiao Shen's inevitable dead end. Unexpectedly, before Xiao Shen returned from court, the first to arrive was the Prime Minister's daughter, Jiyu Ruoxue. So you're the woman His Majesty brought back yesterday. Truly extraordinary. Historical records show that Jiyu Ruoxue was not a good person. On the day of the palace coup, she forced Princess Xiao Qiong to slash her own face 300 times. The Prime Minister's residence was one of the forces behind the coup and the usurpation of the throne. You flatter me, I responded coldly, but her expression remained unchanged, still wearing a faint smile. In 3 days, there will be a banquet in the back garden of the Prime Minister's residence. I hope my sister can attend, next time for sure. I sent her away on the pretext of feeling unwell, but to my surprise, another person barged in the very next second. Which imposter has bewitched Brother Xiao? Get out here. The moment I saw her, I was taken aback for an instant. Princess Xiao Qiong. She's a total brother-con, because she had been lost among the common people in her early years and was brought back by Xiao Shen, while others isolated and rejected her. She became extremely dependent on him. On the day of the palace coup, the carefree king had his trusted aide take her away. She refused to leave. Dressed in her finest palace attire, she prepared to follow Xiao Shen in death, ready to be buried with him. But then she encountered Jiyu Ruoxue, who on that day subjected her to endless humiliation, even slashing her face to ruin. Princess Xiao Qiong. I froze for a moment. A whip lashed out, shattering the vase in front of me to pieces. Another whip lashed out, but a man in black suddenly appeared and intercepted it. Princess, His Majesty has forbidden any harm to her. Xiao Qiong was on the verge of fury. Li Wu, step aside. Are you going to defy me for this woman? Li Wu, he wasn't in the room just a moment ago, yet he suddenly appeared. Is he a hidden guard left by Xiao Shen? Apologies for the offense. Li Wu knocked Xiao Qiong unconscious. Miss Lin, I'll take the princess back first and return shortly. My shadow guard has left. Following the usual plot development, I might be in danger. Just in case, I left a note for Xiao Shen. Beware of the Prime Minister, the General, the Empress Dowager, and the wise king. The sheer curtain fluttered slightly. I hid the note under the bed. As I turned around, 2 figures in black dropped from the eaves. To think they sent 2 shadow guards. Xiao Shen must be truly desperate, yet he still holds her in such high regard. Kill her. The imperial astronomers say she's a major variable. If Xiao Shen's assassination succeeds, we can move our plans forward ahead of schedule. Did he send someone to assassinate Xiao Shen? The dagger pressed against my neck, and I closed my eyes. The blade pierced my flesh, but I didn't feel much pain. Is this how assassins in ancient times were? Killing without pain. As soon as I opened my eyes, I met a pair of smiling, peach blossom-like eyes. Scared out of your wits, I eyed him warily. Who are you? The few corpses nearby had already been cleared away. He leisurely wiped the bloodstains off his folding fan with a handkerchief. The Emperor's brother was assassinated, yet he sent me to see you first, and indeed, I've encountered some small fry. They dare to break into the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Their audacity grows by the day. That folding fan, its ribs made of fine steel, nearly took off someone's head just moments ago. I sized him up. Are you the carefree king? Xiao Yu, he raised an eyebrow. Good guess, you're quite clever. After Xiao Shen ascended the throne, there were 2 princes in total. One was the virtuous Prince Xiaoling, and the other was the carefree Prince Xiao Yu. The virtuous prince was not virtuous. After forcing his way into the palace and usurping the throne, he became the new emperor, and Prince Xiao Yu, was pierced by countless arrows while protecting Xiao Shen. This person is from Xiao Shen's faction and calls him imperial brother. So it definitely isn't Xiaoling. That can only be Xiaoyu. How is Xiaoshen? I asked, a bit nervous. He raised an eyebrow and looked at me. You're the first person who dares to call my royal brother by his name directly. Outsiders all say he is a cruel and ruthless tyrant. Would it kill him to answer my question? Are you concerned about my royal brother? Silence means consent. TSK, I chuckled. Xiaoshen will be fine. If anything had happened to Xiaoshen, Xiaoyu wouldn't be here bantering with me. Xiaoyu is a total Big Brother fanatic. He'd rather die himself than see his brother die. He snapped his folding fan shut. How amusing. No wonder my brother has been unable to forget you for a full 12 years. Even if he said it, it might not be true. 12 years. From that time until now, has it really been 12 years in this world? 12 years have passed. And dangers still lurk everywhere. Xiaoshen is doing a rather poor job as emperor. Still, it's quite impressive that he rose from being a child in the cold palace to such heights. In contrast, I've moved a few times, studied for several years, taken the college entrance exam, and read a few novels. Lin Yin Luo. I turned around to see Xiaoshen standing outside the door, striding over and embracing me tightly, with great force. Let's go, I'll take you home. His voice was a bit hoarse. What? I stopped in my tracks. The well opening is sealed. We can't go back. You may pass. He traced the webbing between my thumb and index finger with his fingertip. Yesterday, I was the one who tampered with things. Lin Yin Luo, I'm sorry, let me take you home. Did he tamper with it? How did he do it? No wonder yesterday, when he found out I couldn't go back, his eyes were all lit up. But now, why? Because there's danger. I'm not going back. Yesterday, I could have been indifferent to the course of history, to my own survival, but today, I cannot. In the future, if I were to read about the Xiao dynasty in the history books, the prematurely deceased Xiaoshen, Xiaoyu, Xiao Qiong, would I have nightmares? The spirit of youth is a non-renewable resource, and I refuse to let potential risks cast a shadow over my entire life. Xiaoshen, if you want me to go back now, you'll have to kill me and carry my body back. Xiaoyu, having finished watching the drama, closed his folding fan and stood up. Brother, it's not too late to send her back when real danger actually arrives. You've waited 12 years for this, and it's only the second day. If you send her back now, will you be content? If we can never meet again in this lifetime, could you truly be at peace with that? I thought of the history books, where Xiaoshen chose to take his own life in front of the cold palace rather than let others escort him away. The imperial astronomer said I am a variable. Perhaps my presence can change fate. Before the outcome arrives, everything remains an unknown. I never expected that when I woke up, I would find myself back in my basement. In my hand, I was still clutching a note, written to me by Xiaoshen. These are troubled times. And I will seal the well. If the situation stabilizes, I will reopen it. I give it a year. If the well hasn't been reopened within that time, forget about me and don't come back. Forget about him. I tried several times, but I couldn't get through. When I climbed out of the basement, my parents looked at me with anxious faces. Luo Luo, where have you been these past few days? At a friend's house. I quickly wolfed down a few bites of food, scanned a shared electric scooter, and headed to the city library. I had looked into it too simply before, not carefully enough, nor had I done extensive research. This time, I'm going to look carefully. But for some reason, all the books about the Xiao dynasty and Xiaoshen that were on the shelf before had disappeared. It was clearly their last time. I contacted the librarian, who happened to be my high school rival, Jiang Shuo. Do you know where those books about the Xiao dynasty went? Jiang Shuo adjusted his glasses. Didn't you see the news? Archaeologists have discovered that the Xiao dynasty never existed. Those books are all fictional and fabricated, and have been recalled for destruction. How could they be fictional and fabricated? Then were my experiences from years ago and now all fake? I still have the jade pendant Xiaoshen gave me. It has his name written on it. I rushed home in a panic, opened the storage box, and there lay a gilded longevity lock, so worn it was almost faded. No jade pendant. The Xiao dynasty doesn't exist. All of this was just a dream. How is that possible? These past few days, I've been wandering around the basement, but I never again felt that sensation of stepping into emptiness and weightlessness. Luo Luo, why do you always go to the basement? If I said that I'm hoping for the person across from me to pull me into a world from thousands of years ago, would they think I'm crazy? I searched online for posts about time travel, under a specific magnetic field. 2 different times and spaces might overlap. I suddenly had an idea. Could my basement actually be the cold palace of the Xiao dynasty from thousands of years ago? By a twist of fate, I crossed through time and arrived thousands of years in the past. I went back and reread a rather wild piece of unofficial history I had downloaded earlier. According to unofficial histories, the well in the cold palace often had issues, sometimes emitting a strange fragrance, other times a foul odor. But when you looked down into it, it was completely empty. What triggers the time travel? Could it be a cat? I bought over a dozen cats. It didn't work. Longevity lock. I hang it in the basement every day. But it's useless. Even though it hurt so much and I even bled a little, it still didn't work. A long time later, I finally figured out what the turning point was. The turning point was that Xiaoshen needed me. Xiaoshen wanted me to go to him. A few years ago, he was alone in the cold palace. A few days ago, it was him standing there. But now he doesn't want to. I muddled through this long summer in a daze. School has started. I went to the basement one last time. But suddenly, the door to another time and space opened. Without hesitation, I jumped down and climbed out from the well opening. I stormed toward the Hall of Mental Cultivation, wanting to give Xiaoshen a good beating. What right did he have to make decisions for me? But the scene around me was completely different from what I had imagined. Many people were packing their things and fleeing. They've already attacked. We need to run quickly. We can't hold them off. Has it already been a year here? Did the note I wrote have no effect at all? Now the enemy is at the gates. Is Xiao Yu dead? If Xiao Yu is not dead, then Xiaoshen is still alive. I searched one by one. Finally, I arrived at the top of the city wall. Below the city wall, Li Wu stood at the forefront, urging surrender. Your Majesty, you are not a qualified ruler. You cannot ensure fairness. You cannot eradicate darkness. You only dare to stand aloof and bide your time. I leaked your plans and broke the seal of the well you reinforced, because I believe you are unworthy of being an emperor. If she doesn't come, it means she's forgotten you. If she comes, you'll both die. A volley of arrows rained down. An arrow grazed my cheek and embedded itself in the wall. Even though I had provided a list of people to be wary of, I still couldn't alter the course of history, because Li Wu has become a traitor. Li Wu, I shouted down in anger. Traitor. Several gazes instantly focused on me. Xiaoshen, get away quickly, hide, Li Wu said to the virtuous Prince Xiaoling beside him. This is Lin Yin Luo. Eliminate this soul variable, and the Xiao dynasty can last for generations to come. The wise king drew his bow and arrow on horseback. And tens of thousands of arrows flew toward me, leaving me with no escape. Lin Yin Luo, I was tightly enveloped in an embrace. The arrows pierced through his body, and blood trickled from the corner of his lips. He even raised his hand to wipe the blood that kept spilling from the corner of my mouth. Why didn't you listen? You shouldn't have come. I can't protect you. It hurts. I opened my eyes, gasping for breath heavily. In the dim light, I was face to face with Xiaoshen. I found a note in my hand, along with my longevity lock. I opened it and saw, Lin Yin Luo, 1 year is the deadline. If all is well, I will lift the seal. If it remains unopened after a year, forget me. Do not come again. I returned to the night when Xiaoshen tried to force me to go home, with reddened eyes. I glared at him fiercely, held him tightly, buried my face in his chest, and wept silently. After crying, I pushed him away. Xiaoshen, if you dare send me back again, I, Lin Yin Luo, will never speak to you again. Whether it's peace or stability, I will hate you forever. I entered the inner room and shut Xiaoshen outside. Xiao Yu slipped in. How was it discovered? Brother, what do you intend to do? Should we send another one? Xiaoshen held the note, glanced toward the inner room, and tore the note into pieces. He glanced at Xiao Yu. If you're free, you can find something to do. Having personally experienced death, the heart-wrenching pain, and the scene of Xiaoshen's dying moments, the bloodshed that filled the city, it's all still vivid in my mind. I had several nightmares. Xiaoshen, I sat up abruptly. I'm here, he reassured me. He looked as if he hadn't slept all night. I held him close. After calming my emotions, I opened my eyes and said to him, kill Li Wu. Why? Li Wu was forced to kneel before us. I, Li Wu, have been utterly loyal, devoted to protecting my master. Your Majesty, how many times have I saved you? Have you forgotten? Because of a woman, because of a single sentence from Lin Yin Luo, a dream, you want to kill me. Everyone turned to look at me. They couldn't accept killing one of their own without reason. Better to kill by mistake than to let go. I trust my own dream, or perhaps, that heart-wrenching pain has always kept me remembering that it truly happened. Li Wu, what do you think of His Majesty? How do you feel about failing the martial arts examination? Do you think His Majesty summoning you, a failed candidate, into the palace is a merit or a fault? Originally, he could have been quietly killed without a sound, but Princess Xiao Chong stumbled upon it. Now I can only find a reasonable excuse. Your Majesty is wise. Summoning me to the palace has prevented this pearl from being buried in dust and given me the opportunity to realize my ambitions, but that's not what you said in your letters to your family." I waved the treasonous letter he had written in the air. I should have been the top martial arts scholar, yet my name was left off the list. After a lifetime of effort, I ended up obscure and unknown. His Majesty summoned me to the palace in secret, which shows he recognized my abilities. During the palace selection for the martial exam, there was behind-the-scenes manipulation, yet His Majesty was powerless to intervene. I could have had my name on the list and returned home in glory. I cannot accept this. If a ruler lacks authority, if a ruler is bound hand and foot, unable to act freely, how can he be called a ruler? Li Wu's face instantly turned pale. Someone nearby sighed. "Li Wu, you are confused. His Majesty is our master. We have sworn with the blood of our hearts." "Bullshit, master," Li Wu sneered. "No ability, no background. His mother was an early deceased, unfavored servant. What right does he have to claim the throne? He is unworthy of the position. The throne should have been the virtuous king's." Xiao Yu's face turned cold. He opened his fan, spun it around Li Wu's neck, and blood splattered everywhere. "You deserve to die. I've eliminated a scourge, but my heart still couldn't settle." "Xiaoshen, did you see the note I left?" "What note?" he asked. He hadn't seen the note, but I clearly hid it on the bed. I searched all over the bed but couldn't find it. The note was taken away, and Xiaoshen didn't see it. Who was it? In the past few days, only Xiaoshen, Xiao Yu, Xiao Qiong, a few palace maids, and the hidden guards have been near. What's wrong? I forced a slight smile. "No." I held his hand in return. "Do you trust me?" He nodded. "Yes." Besides the virtuous King Xiaoling, Prime Minister Jiu Ju, General Lu Xing, and the Empress Dowager, the sooner, the better. His pupils trembled slightly, and he gently stroked my hair. "Luo Luo, is it still affecting you from last night's nightmare?" I looked into his eyes. "Just tell me straight. Can you or can't you? If you need a reason, you can go and check, if you find any. Don't let it slide." "Xiaoshen, if you don't believe me, what I have done will end here. When the time comes, I will return to my home. And you will receive a fate of a ruined country and a broken home, pierced by 10,000 arrows." "Fine," he said. "In official history, unofficial history, and among the common people, Xiaoshen is known as a ruthless and cruel tyrant. But in reality, his heart is soft. If he hadn't been soft-hearted, he wouldn't have left behind the Empress Dowager and Prince Xiaoling as potential threats after successfully seizing the throne. Just in case, I found Xiao Yu. Xiaoshen will die." Xiao Yu's smiling face instantly fell. "Are you cursing my royal brother to die?" "No, this is the future. Not only will your royal brother die, but you and Princess Xiao Qiong will also die." He closed his folding fan and looked at me. "If you're pessimistic about us, you can just go home." "Do you know why I was able to expose Li Wu? Because I have the ability to foresee things. Why should I believe you?" Xiao Yu narrowed his peach blossom eyes, looking at me as if I were a stranger. "In 2 days, at the banquet hosted by the Prime Minister's residence, something will happen. What if I don't go? Xiao Qiong will definitely be there. She has a grudge against Jiu Ruoxue and won't let this opportunity slip by. Xiao Qiong's temperament is such that she cannot be persuaded. I am not worried that Xiao Yu won't go. When it comes to the safety of Xiaoshen and Xiao Qiong, he won't act rashly." I arrived at the Prime Minister's residence. Jiu Ruoxue came from afar to welcome me in. I have never seen His Majesty care so much about someone. "Could you, sister, share a secret or two?" I looked at her. "Truth, goodness, beauty." She froze, because she is neither truthful nor good. As for beauty, she barely qualifies. Jiu Ruoxue held my arm. "Then I must also strive to earn His Majesty's favor." A whip lashed out. It was some distance away from us, likely just a warning, yet Jiu Ruoxue stumbled and fell, taking a blow to her wrist. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at the approaching figure. "Little princess, I know you don't like me, but this is a banquet. Why embarrass me in front of everyone?" Xiao Qiong glared at her. "Who wants to hit you? You threw yourself at me. You're talking nonsense." The crowd at the banquet chimed in. "We all saw it. It was your whip that lashed out at Miss Jiu. Miss Jiu is the Prime Minister's daughter, yet you still treat her so harshly even in the Prime Minister's residence. It shows how you usually bully her. A princess raised among the commoners, her, unfit for the grand stage, not as proper as the legitimate one." Xiao Qiong clenched her whip tightly. Jiu Ruoxue gave a subtle, light laugh. She stood up, her face tear-streaked like pear blossoms in the rain. "Don't blame the little princess. It's only because no one guided her in the past that she developed such a domineering temperament." Someone snorted coldly. "Me." I'll be keeping my distance from her from now on, afraid her whip might land on me. I looked at Jiyu Ruoshua. Sister Jiyu, why did you just throw yourself at the whip? Originally, the whip wouldn't have hit us. Zhao Sai, the secret guard reassigned to me by Xiao Shen, stepped forward, took Xiao Chong's position, and swung the whip along the same trajectory. I remained motionless, yet the whip did not touch me at all. Someone questioned, Miss Jiyu is a delicate woman. How could she be the one to judge? In the end, it's Xiao Chong who is overbearing and should not have used the whip. I wanted to defend myself a little, but Xiao Chong stepped forward. No need, she lifted her chin high. I, Xiao Chong, have no need for the approval of people like you. I recall a few sparse lines recorded in the history books. Xiao Chong was lost among the common people in her childhood and endured great hardships. After Xiao Shen escaped from the cold palace, he brought her back. However, she was mocked for her lack of etiquette and manners. Later, because of Jiyu Ruoshua, she was ridiculed and isolated by everyone, which led to her developing this aloof demeanor. It was merely a means of self-preservation. The crowd dispersed. Jiyu Ruoshua went into the inner room to bandage her wounds. Xiao Chong looked at me. I looked back at her. Xiao Chong suddenly blushed slightly. She snorted loudly. Don't think that just because you helped me, I'll accept you. I shrugged. It didn't matter to me. The banquet hadn't started yet when Zhao Sai approached me. Miss Lin, the little princess is watching you. I turned around, and Xiao Chong looked away again. I paid no mind to that. I looked toward a distant arena. The main event was about to begin. This time, only women were originally invited. But a few young masters and 2 princes had also shown up, Prince Xiaoyu, the carefree king, and Prince Xiaoling, the virtuous king. It was this Xiaoling who stood beneath the city wall, drew his bow, and shot an arrow straight through Xiao Shen's heart. The carefree king and the virtuous king strolled through the garden together. Xiaoyu glanced at me from afar, then averted his gaze. I don't care about Xiaoyu's scrutiny of me. I've never met him before. What is my royal brother looking at? Is there a woman you fancy? Xiaoyu fanned himself with his folding fan. And when does my royal brother plan to marry? Xiaoling gazed into the distance. No rush. He intended to marry the love of his life in grand style on the day of his coronation. It is recorded in historical texts that Xiaoling once had a woman he adored deeply, keeping her hidden away like a precious treasure, and had promised her the position of empress. Yet on the day he forced the emperor to abdicate, he used her as a bargaining chip to threaten General Lu Xing. This person is Lu Shi, the amnesiac daughter of the general, who died amidst the chaos of arrows on the day of the palace coup. Xiaoling was grief-stricken and did not take any consorts into his harem for a year. Yet, in less than a year after that, the harem was filled again. The old is no match for the new. Rescuing the severely injured Lu Shi before Xiaoling and preventing the general from switching sides would be the most crucial step in turning the tide. However, more details were not elaborated in the historical records. She was like a mere tool, used to highlight the emperor's deep affection or his heartlessness. What's even more tragic is that the emperor was truly heartless. Excellent. General Lu is truly a heroine among women. On the stage, someone was performing with a spear. Lu Shi, full of vigor and spirit, wielded the red-tasseled spear with a whistling sound. Suddenly, the red-tasseled spear flew out of her hand and landed right in front of Xiaoling and Xiaoyu. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. Lu Shi also panicked and jumped off the stage. Zhao Sai leaned close to me. Just now, I saw a stone hit Miss Lu's hand and wrist as she was holding the gun. The force was not light. Not just not light, Lu Shi's hand was bruised black and blue. Otherwise, why would she have let go? I secretly made my way behind Xiaoyu. Just as Lu Shi was bowing to apologize, I pushed Lu Yu out. Caught off guard, Xiaoyu nearly fell onto Lu Shi. Both lost their balance, and in a moment of urgency, Xiaoyu placed his hand on Lu Shi's waist, spinning her around until she landed firmly on top of him. Xiaoling's face darkened. I don't believe in his so-called deep affection. His current closeness to Lu Shi is merely to gain the support of General Lu Xing. Not filling the imperial harem for a year after ascending the throne was only to stabilize General Lu Xing, who had lost his beloved daughter. He deliberately maneuvered Lu Shi's spear to land in front of himself. Now, Lu Shi's attention was completely drawn to Lu Yu. Xiaoyu said with some regret. No offense intended. Lu Shi grabbed his collar and refused to let go. You may offend. Xiaoyu's looks are also top-notch, with a lazy charm that is very attractive, in the capital. There are even more admirers of Xiaoyu than of Xiao Shen, because Xiao Shen is rumored to be ruthless and cruel, but the carefree prince is different. Xiaoyu glared at me fiercely, accusing me of the push I gave him earlier. I silently retorted, "What, don't you like it? Lu Shi insisted on exchanging tokens with Xiao Yu and set a time for their next meeting. Only then did she return to tidy up her clothes and tend to her own wounds. I sauntered over to Xiao Yu's side. "What do you think of the general's daughter?" Xiao Yu closed his folding fan and looked at me. "What exactly do you want?" "I came only to tell you, Lu Shi will run into trouble today. Aren't you going to check on her?" His expression turned serious. "You don't need to distrust me so much. I can also tell you that all of this was planned by the virtuous Prince Xiao Ling. He gained Lu Shi's trust and forced General Lu Xing to defect, making him a key player in the future palace coup." Xiao Yu glanced at me and walked toward the inner room. "Assassin!" Several people screamed in shock. Miss, she's been kidnapped by thieves." Xiao Yu looked at me, disbelief in his eyes. "It's actually true." He glanced in the direction the group had fled. After them, I watched several people chase out of the mansion. "I hope I'm in time." Jiyu Ruoshua urged me to go for tea. I felt that the matter here was settled, so I followed along, but I also kept my guard up. I didn't touch any of the pastries, tea, or wine at the banquet. Any poison or drug would be more than enough to give me a hard time. Zhao Sai whispered to me, "Miss Lin, the virtuous king keeps looking at you. It feels a bit strange. Better be careful. And the little princess has been following you just now. Be careful of her too. Do I have 3 heads and 6 arms?" Historical records note that Princess Xiao Qiong was not well received in the palace and relied heavily on Xiao Shen. However, with various court factions watching closely, Xiao Shen was too preoccupied with his own troubles to offer much care, so she was actually quite starved for affection. Jiyu Ruoshua knocked over the teacup, spilling tea on my skirt. "It's all because I was just injured. I can't even hold a teacup steady. Sister will take you to change into a new dress." I stopped her. "No matter, who knows what might happen if I go with her. I just need to wait in the crowd for the meeting to end." I just didn't expect a child carrying a basin of water to almost splash it on me. Zhao Sai grabbed the child's wrist, but the child suddenly collapsed to the ground and fainted. Several people rushed out and seized Zhao Sai. "Young master, you've injured the young master. Come with us to see the master." A whip lashed across the table, shattering several teacups. Xiao Qiong glared fiercely. "I dare any of you to try." I also stood up. "This matter is suspicious. Perhaps we should first summon the imperial physician to take a look. I don't believe the Prime Minister's residence would sacrifice a common-born son for the so-called plan." Suddenly, another person approached with a teacup, intending to splash it on me. I couldn't dodge in time, but Xiao Qiong suddenly stepped in front of me, blocking the scalding tea. "Now you won't hold a grudge against me for wanting to hit you earlier, will you, sister-in-law?" she said. Too many things to complain about. Xiao Qiong's neck was already red and swollen. Now she had no choice but to change her clothes. In the inner room, I helped her rinse her neck with water. My body grew weaker and weaker. "Wait, it seems." I glanced at the lit incense beside me. I had been careless. I quickly doused it with water and, while still conscious, straightened Xiao Qiong's clothes and hid her under the bed. "You're really hard to kill." Xiao Ling's voice hissed like a venomous snake. A cold touch brushed against my cheek. "Damn, get your filthy hands off me." But I couldn't utter a word. "Lu Shi is just a pawn, not as useful as you, Lin, Yin, Luo. If I use you to threaten Xiao Shen, do you think he would hand over the empire without a fight?" When I woke up again, I was locked in a small woodshed. The woodshed was dim, with rats around. And it was silent and empty. After a while, someone was thrown in. "Zhao Sai," I called out to him. He struggled to open his eyes. "Miss Lin." He slowly moved in front of me. "Princess Xiaoqiang has caused a huge scene at the Prime Minister's residence. His Majesty has already arrived." I was just about to leave, but a few people caught me and threw me in here. "Don't move recklessly." He was injured and still bleeding profusely. The situation was definitely not as lightly described as he made it out to be. If Xiao Shen were to confront Xiao Ling now, it's hard to say how much chance of winning he would have. It's also unclear whether Xiao Yu has managed to rescue Lu Shi or not. As long as Lu Xing hasn't defected to Xiao Ling, there's still a chance of victory. Historical records state that Xiao Ling, after being on the throne for a year and gradually consolidating his power, secretly killed Lu Xing. If not for Lu Shi, General Lu Xing would not have been loyal to Xiao Ling. Xiao Shen formally broke with Xiao Ling. In the palace, in the Great Hall, he looked at Xiao Ling. "If anything happens to Lin Yin Luo, your head will be the offering at his memorial." He directly placed the Empress Dowager under house arrest. Xiao Ling's eyebrows twitched fiercely. "She is also your adoptive mother, Xiao Shen. Don't forget what she did for you when you usurped the throne and ascended. Without her, do you think you could have taken this position?" Xiao Shen said calmly. "If you want your birth mother to be safe, Bring Lin Yinluo in exchange. Although Xiao Shen's influence is not yet fully established, Xiao Ling's plans are also not yet complete. If both sides go to war, it's a 50-50 chance. Xiao Yu fanned himself with a folding fan. Xiao Ling, do you really think my elder brother is the kind of man who would risk his own safety, and ours, all for the sake of a woman? Talk of handing over the kingdom. If it were truly given up, Xiao Ling would slaughter every last one of us without mercy. If you've captured Lin Yinluo, you might as well capture me. I'm more useful. Xiao Shen glanced at him indifferently. Xiao Yu fell silent. The two groups stood in a tense standoff. It turned out that 80% of the palace had been replaced by Xiao Ling's trusted followers, after the incident with the assassin in the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Xiao Shen secretly dealt with the suspicious individuals, leading to a major reshuffle in the imperial palace. Now it's 50-50. Suddenly, someone came to report, General Lu has arrived. Xiao Ling's eyes lit up. He's here to help me. Lu Shi, clad in armor, also saw Xiao Yu and his eyes brightened. Your Highness. Lu Xing knelt on the ground, bowing towards Xiao Shen. Your servant. I have come to rescue you. Too late. Xiao Ling, General Lu, are you perhaps kneeling to the wrong person? The one who communicated with you before was me. Lu Xing stood up, raised his hand, and pointed at Xiao Ling. Seize him. The two sides were locked in fierce combat. Xiao Ling saw that the situation was hopeless and tried to flee in the chaos, but Xiao Yu pressed an iron fan against his neck. Tell me, where is Lin Yinluo? If you dare lie, I'll chop you into mincemeat and feed you to the flies. Xiao Ling laughed. What does it matter if the situation is hopeless, if anything happens to me? Lin Yinluo will lose his head. He looked at Xiao Shen. My dear brother, you will have nightmares, won't you? Lu Xing knelt on the ground. Your Majesty, I am guilty. I wish to atone for my crime. There are 18 interrogation methods in the military camp. In just half an hour, Prince Xian will talk. Xiao Shen, granted. The great hall was filled with screams. A report came in. Prime Minister Ji Yu Ruoshua has confessed. Xiao Shen dashed out instantly, to the Prime Minister's residence. Xiao Yu, so this mess is left for me to clean up. I struggled to save myself in the firewood shed. Mr. Zhao, are you done? Have you untied the rope? Miss Lin, just a moment. It was already half an hour later by the time the rope was untied. I quickly turned around to help Zhao Sai untie the rope, only to find it soaked through with blood. Zhao Sai's injury was actually deep enough to see the bone, the rope deeply embedded in his flesh. No wonder he was so weak when untying it just now. Hang in there, I'll get someone to help you right away. It's no use. Zhao Sai gave me a weak smile. I failed to protect the young lady. I have let His Majesty down. Like Li Wu, he was pushed aside by the dark forces. He should have been the top martial arts scholar, bringing honor to his family. Prime Minister Xiao Ling and the Empress Dowager did not allow Xiao Shenshen to recruit talents. So there were constant underhanded dealings in every process. Xiao Shenshen had no background, no support, and no power to resist, so he could only recruit those who had been unfairly eliminated by the shady practices. But they cannot be given official positions and titles like those who are formally recruited. Li Wu did not hate Xiao Shen, but Zhao Sai, he smiled faintly. Everyone who came out with me has returned home, but I entered the palace and followed His Majesty, a worthy death. Someone was coming toward the woodshed. I glanced at Zhao Sai. His eyes were already closed. He had stopped breathing. I covered his face with straw. Wait for me to come back. I slipped out quietly and bumped right into someone. The familiar scent enveloped me completely. Xiao Shen held me tightly. Lin Yinluo. I almost suffocated. I pushed him away. Zhao Sai is still inside. Hurry and save him. Xiao Shen had a royal physician with him. The imperial physicians rushed in with their medical kits. Heavens, such severe injuries. I asked, can he be saved? Others might not be able to, but I can, any later, and perhaps it would have been too late. I breathed a sigh of relief. Xiao Shen meticulously examined my entire body. Are you hurt? I shook my head. He hugged me tightly again, resting his chin on top of my head and nuzzling gently. Lin Yinluo, I was really worried. I know. I could feel his rapidly beating heart, fast and strong. Lin Yinluo, you are my lucky star. Xiao Shen had started an investigation right after hearing what I said. Indeed, many hidden dangers were discovered. He found General Lu Xing and, in casual conversation, brought up Lu Xing's father, Lu Yuan, who had a glorious military career and spent his life guarding the border for the country. Plotting to kill General Lu Yuan was the proposal of Prince Xian. Xiao Ling, he pushed that secret memorial in front of Lu Xing. Lu Xing, with tears streaming down his aged face, knelt on the ground before Xiao Shen. The already fragile alliance between Lu Xing and Xiao Ling had now completely collapsed. This also explains why, just 1 year after ascending the throne, Xiao Ling was so eager to kill the general who had helped him rise to power. Perhaps this secret had been exposed. Xiao Shen went to see the Empress Dowager again. Xiao Shen poured a cup of tea for the Empress Dowager. We have never sat down to drink tea so calmly before. I once hated you. The hand holding the teacup trembled slightly. Later, you helped me. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand why you supported me to ascend the throne back then, instead of Xiao Ling. The Empress Dowager smiled. Because you are more suited to be emperor than Ling. Xiao Shen placed the teacup on the table with a loud clatter. The Empress Dowager was startled. Later, I figured it out. Xiao Shen looked at her. Because no matter who you supported at the time, the one who would rise to power would be me. If you had supported Xiao Ling back then, I would not have spared your life, let alone listened to you and spared Xiao Ling's. The Empress Dowager's face instantly turned deathly pale. No, you've misunderstood. Shuna, I truly intended to support you as emperor. Is that so? Xiao Shen raised his hand, scattering the letters across the table. Linger, wait patiently. Your mother has already made plans. Everything is under control. Within a year, Xiao Shen will surely pass away. Xiao Shen smashed his cup, and over a dozen people rushed in. The Empress Dowager intends to rebel. Take her into custody at Sining Palace. It was truly unbelievable that such a seemingly difficult problem was resolved so effortlessly. I'm packing up my things, getting ready to go home. Xiao Shen stood outside the well and asked, when will you be back? I smiled at him. It depends. The fried chicken, novels, and games on my phone are way more appealing than all the scheming and plotting in this palace. Xiao Shen stepped forward, held me and kissed me, then bit my shoulder hard. I forbid it. You must think of me. Remember me at all times. Come see me before this mark fades. Xiao Yu and Lu Shi were laughing nearby. Feeling a bit embarrassed and annoyed, I pushed him away. Let's go back. All this lovey-dovey stuff is too much. I jumped into the well. Over there, university was about to start as well. I went to the city library again. The books about the Xiao dynasty were still there, prominently displayed. Only the content had changed. Jiang Shaw adjusted his glasses. The previous information was incorrect. The Xiao dynasty did exist, but it completely contradicts both the official and unofficial historical records from before. It has been corrected now. Oh. And archaeologists also discovered someone with the exact same name as you. You might want to take a look. I flipped to the last page. Emperor Xiao Shen of the Xiao dynasty ruled with strict governance, bringing peace and prosperity to the nation. In the 25th year of the Xiao dynasty, he made a commoner woman, Lin Yinluo, his empress. They lived in harmony and both passed away peacefully in old age. Xiao Qiong went to the prison cell where Jiyu Ruoshua was held. She slowly traced the gold hairpin across Jiyu Ruoshua's face. I remember everything now. I'm returning it to you. Jiyu Ruoshua committed suicide out of guilt. After leaving the cell, Xiao Qiong saw me and quickly put away the golden hairpin. Your Majesty's consort, I pretended not to see. In my previous life, before I went to the city wall, I actually saw Xiao Qiong. She lay in the palace, her face slashed and her clothes disheveled. I looked at myself, but couldn't see clearly. Is it you? Have you come to laugh at me? Tell me, if the emperor were to die and I wished to be buried with him, would he find me ugly? Would he find me filthy? I helped her straighten her clothes. No, I won't. Xiao Qiong is very clean. This time, she died before Xiao Shen did, by suicide. I couldn't save her. Xiao Qiong still seemed a bit uneasy, hiding the blood-stained hem of her skirt behind her. I patted her on the shoulder. Come home for dinner. I suddenly remembered. When Xiao Qiong was on her deathbed, I held her in my arms. She stared fixedly at me, blood trickling from the corner of her lips. It was I who didn't believe you. I've reaped what I sowed, and I've harmed my brother too. So, was it Xiao Qiong who hid that note? I watched Xiao Qiong trying to sneak closer to me. It doesn't matter anymore. That day, as usual, I brought a lot of food and fun things to the basement. I almost got caught by my mom. Everyone else is running outside. Why do you keep going to the basement? Catch the cat. It can't be that she eloped with someone. Can it? What kind of happy occasion is this? Xiao Shen wrapped his arm around my waist. Our happy occasion. The emperor's coronation of the empress is celebrated across the land, with a 3-day amnesty, except for the prime minister, the empress dowager, and Xiao Ling. Xiao Ling didn't have a single piece of unbruised flesh on his body, yet he still stubbornly insisted. Such glory should have been mine. The empress dowager. Why haven't you brought me any meat or wine, serving me plain rice porridge every day? Are you trying to starve me to death? I am the empress dowager. Chancellor, How foolish I was. Xiaoshen insisted on taking the betrothal gifts back home. He prepared pile after pile. But in the end, only a bronze artifact was actually sent back. My mother saw it and asked, "Where did this come from?" My dad, wearing glasses, said, "It looks real. But why does it seem so new?" My dad handed it over to the state, and the state awarded him the Good Citizen Award. He bragged about it in the neighborhood group chat for a full 3 months. In the evening, they asked me where it came from. I cleared my throat lightly. "Your son-in-law gave it to me." "What?" One day, my mom suddenly yelled, "Catch the thief." I grabbed an iron rod and rushed over, only to see Xiaoshen. My iron rod clattered to the ground. "You." I quickly pulled my mom away. "Who was hitting Xiaoshen?" "Let me introduce. This is your son-in-law, Emperor Xiaoshen of the Xiao dynasty." "Xiaoshen. These are my parents." The end.